Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make this very stylish modern house. If you enjoy this tutorial, please do remember to hit that like button, I'd really appreciate that. And if you want to see any more modern builds by me, please check out the card system and the description below for loads more modern houses. But without any further ado, let's do this thing. So, I can let you know that this house will require a 19 block by an 18 block space. 19 blocks coming across the front of the build by about 18 blocks going towards the back. I would recommend building this grid in your world. If you don't want to, you don't have to, just a recommendation. Now, we will also need all of these materials that I've just put in my hotbar and the remaining ones in my inventory as well. To make sure that you have absolutely every single one of these, we're going to be starting off with the ones in the hotbar. Once you've got them all, we can begin, but pause the video if you have to. Now that we have all the stuff, now that we have our grid, now we know where we want to make it, we can get this started. So let us assume that you yourself have built this grid. I'm going to begin on the front right hand corner of the grid. I want to move in left one and then inwards by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is where we will begin the house. Start off with a row of 10 block of quartz coming up from the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Extended that 10th block backwards by 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then extend the 12th block all the way down to the ground. You should end up with this shape right here. Here's the thing. You now want to take that 12th block and also the 10th one and extend them across the side of the build by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Extend that block downwards, the 6th block. But also extend the 6th block forwards with the goal of connecting it all the way to the start of the build like this. And then extend the corner down where you have created a bend all the way down to the ground, like this. Now, once you have done that, we can make some more of the actual structure. So we want to come all the way down to the front bottom left hand corner of the build, which is where we have this leg of quartz. You want to take the bottom block of quartz and extend it to the left using quartz slab by 2. 1, 2. Place 3 orange concrete going left. 1, 2, 3. Then 3 quartz slab. 1, 2, 3. Connect that down to the ground. And also go up on top of it by 4 using solid blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. Go up on top of the orange concrete that you placed and place 3 additional layers of concrete. 1, 2, 3, and do the same for the other 2 rows. Like so. Behind the quartz slabs that you placed, you want to be able to place grey concrete. And on top of the grey concrete, place 2 rows of glass. These can either be glass block or they can be glass pane. I personally prefer the glass block. We then want to place grey concrete on top of the glass and then connect it together at the top behind the orange. We then want to come forwards and place a row of quartz slab in front of the lower half of the top row of grey concrete. Like that. It's actually a little bit unnecessary on this right hand side because I did just realise the next thing we want to do is we want to take these 2 grey concrete here on the right and we want to extend them forwards by 3 rows. 1, 2, 3. We then want to extend these two last rows to the right by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And both of those rows want to be the same. Then place a row of quartz slab that goes all the way around the top of the grey concrete that we have just placed. I know that it's a bit of a weird shape, but you do want to place it going all the way around. Like that. Now that you've done that, I feel as though that we should add some detail to the large portion of the house that we've done. I know that we're kind of making this in a weird way, but hey, what can I say? So the next thing we want to do is we want to place the door. So I'm going to grab a literal oak door. The main entrance to the house is in the bottom center of this area right here, just underneath where we were building. So place a door here. Place a block of quartz going all the way around the door like this. Then place grey concrete left and right of the space in between the two rows of quartz. And extend the grey concrete forwards by one row to create a pleasing shape. Then place a row of quartz slabs above the door like this, just to kind of create an interesting looking shape. If you wanted to, you could even make it a bit more interesting by placing a layer of glass above the door. It's up to you, it is customizable. Now, whilst we are here too, I'm going to grab light grey concrete and I'm going to create a path in front of the door. So I'm going to dig in front of the door, 1 row, 2 row, 3, 4, 5, like that. And I'm going to dig out the rows left and right of that row of 5. And I want to place light grey concrete within the area that I have just dug out. Like that. That is the path that will take us all the way to the front door. Now, here's the thing. We now want to, and this is a bit tricky to explain, we want to take the area here where we have this left window. We want to dig in the ground, first underneath the two windows, because underneath the windows we can place some grey concrete, because it looks a bit nicer than grass, if you have a look at that. But what I primarily want to do is I want to, in front of this left window, I want to dig a row of 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I want it to be double wide. And I want to place light grey in here instead. Then I want to connect these last two rows all the way over to the main entrance. And this is where we are going to have a connecting path between the main entrance and what will later on be the second story of the house. So that's what we want to have so far. It's looking pretty decent if I do say so myself. What we also want to have at the ends of the path, the main path that is, left and right of the light grey, place a quartz block with a quartz slab on top, just to kind of beef it up a little bit, like that. We'll continue on from that point later, but for now I do want to add additional detail to this. Actually, you know what, I'm getting ahead of myself. We will continue from where I was just previously going to do. So what we now want to do is we want to take this left post, this quartz post, and we want to dig into the ground, and we want to dig into the ground a row of 9 going left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then dig inwards by 1, 2. Place block of quartz in that last spot that you just dug out, and then place an additional quartz on top. Then fill in all of the remaining empty space that you've just dug out using quartz block, like that. We then want to extend this quartz block that is of course stuck upwards, and we want to go left of it by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then move it backwards from it by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Go on top of this 8th block by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then move backwards from this 7th block by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Extend that 7th block all the way down to the ground, and then return back up to the 7th block, because we then want to extend it across the back of the build by a further 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then go down from that block by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then extend that 4th block to the right using quartz slabs, like so. Move through the block that you connected to and extend this block towards the front, like this. Now this is important because we now want to use grey concrete, and we want to place grey concrete on the inside of the slab blocks, like that, to create a corner shape. We then want to extend this inner corner upwards by 1, 2, 3, and then we want to extend that 3rd block coming forwards and connect down to the previous row of grey, and we want to do the same here, extend to the right, connect down to the previous row of grey. We then want to take the top 2 corners of the quartz rows, and we want to extend them forwards and right to create an angle like this. And you also want to extend the corner quartz all the way down to the ground like this. That'll also separate the room nicely on the inside. And we also want to place a row of grey concrete that creates a shape like this. So inside of this, we want to have created a box shape, if that makes sense. So we want to have in total something that should look like that. I'm hoping that you guys have managed to follow that along. I feel as though that perhaps I did that a bit fast. But later on, we're going to want to have access to this right-hand side, so you might want to create some sort of door situation. So perhaps you might want to knock out a block or so, or maybe like this is where we'll probably be walking in, like right here, yeah? So everywhere else can actually be windows. So anywhere that you're not going to want to access this cube area that we have just devised, you just want to cover it in with glass. And that includes the top as well, unless you're going to be skydiving into this particular part of the house, then you're probably going to want to just cover in the roof and the sides in with glass. So I'm also going to do the top like this. If you want a bit more headspace, then I would suggest filling the very top in with glass rather than what we've just done. I'd actually suggest a little something like this, just fill in above it like that. And then you could even do a cool thing where you did the quartz slabs all the way around the top. Now, it kind of looks a bit bad from the top, I suppose, but from the inside, the sort of effect that we'd get if we come in here, and the sort of effect that we'd get is if you looked up, then you can kind of see a bit of a gap where the glass is and where the quartz is. I kind of like the effect. It looks kind of interesting from the inside. But something like that would absolutely work just fine, or something similar to it. I'm also going to connect this quartz block here at the back corner. I'm going to connect this down to the ground, and then I'm going to fill in the entire back portion of this using quartz block. And I'll also fill in this left portion as well, also with quartz block 2. So just something like that will be just fine. And from the front, you'll see that we have something that looks exactly like that. Looks very good. And once you've done that, we now want to continue moving around the house. You see we were just on the back here. And the next part of this is going to be for us to extend this row of quartz slab here. We want to extend this row of quartz slab through the build. It wants to extend from that little part to here, and also through here. So you can see that we've drew a line across the back of the house, and then we want to continue that line, and it wants to come all the way to the front of the house just like that. And you could even place it here too, I suppose, if you wanted. Like, you could separate this entire large part of the house just like that. I mean, perhaps you might even want to do a similar thing here as well. So, really just divide up all of the individual pieces. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to fill in the back part here. The way that we're going to do this is, first of all, we're going to use a row of grey concrete, and this row of grey concrete is going to sit inside of the row of it's basically just all of the quartz slab. We want to place a row of grey concrete on the inside of it, like this. And we want to do the same thing at the bottom of the build as well. So at the bottom of the build, you want to place a row of grey concrete that kind of just sits inside and moves all the way around the bottom of the build. It might be easier to see from the outside, actually. So something like this will look just fine. The upper half of the build is a bit different, however, in that we want to have an orange concrete layer that is kind of like an N shape that sits like this. It'll basically be like, it just kind of sits on the left hand side, the top, and the right hand side like this, using orange concrete. And we want to extend the orange concrete forwards like this. And this corner as well wants to be extended forwards, sitting inside of the quartz frame, connect it together, and then extend down to where it would connect to the floor. There isn't a floor at the moment, but we will be adding one in a moment. So we just want to have something that should look a little bit like this. You can see how it's all piecing together. You might also want to place a layer of grey concrete inside of the quartz slab as well that we have inside of the actual building. Like that, you can see how it all pulls together. Maybe even have a row of grey concrete here just to kind of like complete it. On the lower half of the build, we want to have a bit more detail. So on the back here, we want to connect these corners down, like this corner and this corner on the back, like this, to create a box shape. And then we want to place orange concrete on the left hand side of the box and the right hand side of the box like this. And we then want to fill in the back part here. We want to fill this window in using blue glass. We want to fill the window in here on the left using blue glass as well. And also this window here just above. The majority of windows are indeed going to just be filled in with glass. So much so that this one on the inside, this rather long one, will also be filled in with glass, and the one on the opposite side will be as well. However, the remaining ones will require a bit more detail, so that looks pretty good. And we might as well also do the top as well. Whilst we are up here, I feel as though that this particular part has enough headroom, so I'm not going to do anything fancy how I did with the opposite side of the build there, where I kind of added like an extra block of headroom. This side doesn't really need it. I mean, it is quite tall anyway. Now, once you've done that, we do also want to fill this side in as well using glass. Like this. But these spaces below it are a bit different. So where we have this grey area, for example. So start off by connecting the top and the bottom together using grey concrete. Then place a row of block of quartz top to bottom. 2 rows of glass. 1, 2. And then block of quartz again. A row of orange. Block of quartz. 2 glass. 1, 2. Then a row of quartz. And then extend the orange outwards and down to the ground. I'm kind of seeing like a bird face in there. I don't know whether I'm crazy, but I'm kind of seeing a bird face. Anyway, once you've done that, we then want to extend this block of quartz here, extend it outwards from the build by 1, dig into the ground in front of it, coming as far as the front of the house where we have this fence. Dig into the ground to connect it together, and then place block of quartz inside, like that. And we should end up with something that so far looks like this. And believe it or not, I know that we've been at this for quite a while now, we are coming to the point where this is almost done. We do, however, need to create an entrance here. So, to get into this particular part of the build, you have to walk up a set of stairs which will be there onto the roof, and then you have to walk your way in. So we need an entrance. I'm going to simply use an oak door right in the middle here. Then I'm going to fill the rest of the area in using blue glass. All of the rows around the door, blue glass. Then above the door, I'm going to place a quartz slab, extend it left, right. Then I'm going to come all the way up to the top of the glass, and I'm going to place a row of quartz slab that sits in front of the top of the glass, like this. So just like that. We also, however, need to set up a set of stairs. So let's do it. So the stairs are going to begin in this position. So where we have this corner of quartz, this is the stairs area. So place 2 acacia wood stairs in between the front of the build and this wall. So like here. We then want to place a 2x2 square of acacia planks, I'm using slabs to create planks, behind the stairs. Then all we have to do is we just have to set up a diagonal layer of stairs that comes all the way up to the roof, and you only need 3 sets of stairs. So you only need to go up 1, 2, 3 stairs. So just like that, coming all the way up to the roof. I'm then going to place a grey concrete block here. Or am I going to... No, you know what? I'll use quartz here next to the stairs. And I want to just cover up where the stairs connect up to the top of the build like this. So I just want to place 2 rows of block of quartz here. And I also want to place just enough block of quartz here on the side that you're not going to really be able to fall off of the stairs. So something like that would be good, and then you have virtually no chance of falling off the stairs really. So something like that would work out perfectly. I also want to have acacia wood slabs or acacia planks. I mean, it might be a bit easier with the planks actually. They're a little bit less annoying to work with. I want to use acacia wood planks as the second story material. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use exactly that, acacia wood planks, as the second story material. So this is going to be throughout the entire second floor. I'm sure that you guys know where the second floor is because we have, of course, placed 2 rooms up here, but it is of course, where the stairs themselves stop. So I'm sure that you'll be able to place those no problem. The second story is a gentle mix of grey concrete and some acacia because I really like how the two blend together. But you might just want to use perhaps grey concrete if you like. I'm also going to place some flooring here inside this particular room. Now this room is quite small. I figure that this is probably more of a storage area. This area, like you'd have a load of separate chests in this particular part of your modern house. And I imagine the smaller bedroom there to be exactly what I just called it, a bedroom, and most of the workspace would of course be in the area below. The second story isn't really meant to be walked around that much. It's just meant to be like where you keep some stuff and where you do have a room to sleep in. So that's what we have so far. I'm going to use a bit of blue stained glass pane, and I want to place blue stained glass pane. Actually, I'll destroy this block here, and I'll place a grey concrete because it's a good starting point to place a row of blue stained glass pane coming all the way around the grey concrete. And then I want to come forwards and I want to go around all of the quartz slabs here. So just so that we can't fall off the balcony, because that's literally this area here, this balcony is the only way to get into the storage area like that. So that's pretty good. I also want to place a row of, I want to place some glass here on the front, on top of the quartz blocks, and on the right hand side too, just like this. Just so that kind of like fences off the front garden. I also want to place a little bit of jungle leaves here on the left hand side where we have this open corner, just so that it kind of like better fits in with the shape of the house. It makes it a bit more blocky, which modern houses are pretty much. I also want to add in a little bit of green. I want to destroy the grass inside of the perimeter of the build. So any grass that we have inside the perimeter, I'm probably just going to straight up get rid of and place some lime terracotta instead. I almost said concrete because I use pretty much concrete is just straight up replace terracotta in most situations. So yeah, that looks pretty good. That looks a bit better. On the right hand side of the build, I mean, it's kind of up to you what you want to do with this, right? I mean, first of all, I think I'm just going to delete all of the grass. And I'm going to place the terracotta in it instead. And then you could do, I mean, you could place some bushes, perhaps. You could place some, like, bushes on the side here. And you could use maybe, like, birchwood fence or something to connect the bushes down to the ground. You could even place some planters in here as well. Planters are very simply made out of, like, a bit of grass block underneath the windows with wooden trapdoors in between. Something like that would look just fine. And then if you shove another block to the side of them, I'm not sure what that block could be, to be honest with you. I mean, you could even maybe extend out the grey concrete. I don't know whether that looks a little bit silly or what, but it really is up to you. You can make it look a bit more interesting. I'm going to just plant some poppies here now that I've done that, just inside these. You know, just to make the sides look a bit more interesting. You could even have plants on the side up at the top here as well. And I do believe that I do have plants on the original version. Like, might even put some bushes here, just like hanging off of the side of the build, just to make it look a little bit nicer, just a little bit more lively. On the back, you could do a similar thing, but maybe on the back you could go a little bit more hardcore with the plants. Maybe just place some straight up planters just underneath the glass. With this area, maybe you just leave it alone because you don't have to do absolutely every single area. Whilst I'm here on the back, I think I will seal up this bit though. I think I'll place a row of glass pane so that nobody can fall off. I mean, you could place a bit of bush there, I suppose. It's kind of up to you if you want to fill in every single crevice or not. You absolutely don't have to though. Speaking of bushes, I think I will place some bushes here on the side of this particular part of the house, just because I do like to see a little bit of green. And I think that I'll place some bush here. Is that? Yep, that's right in the middle. So I'll place a bit of bush here as well. Some wooden trapdoors around it. I do like to see a little bit of nature mixed with the modern houses. I think that looks pretty decent, if I do say so. Maybe get out a couple of plant plots. I realise I'm using the same flowers, by the way. Absolutely, that's not a flower. I do realise I'm using the same flowers absolutely everywhere, but they're my favourite, so I kind of do spam them a little bit. Might even place like one down here with like a poppy in it. I don't think I'm really missing too much. I think that's the house pretty much done, to be honest with you guys. I don't think that we've actually missed any part of the house whatsoever. So I'll tell you what, from this point, I'm going to get rid of all of the letters and stuff around the house. I'll fill the windows in using a nice dark colour so that the windows pop a bit. And then I'll be back in a moment once I've done all of that, and then we can admire the house now that it's done. And this is what the house should look like once you have added all of your finishing touches. All I've done is I have cleared up all of the numbers and letters and the alphabet and the novel that I wrote on the ground around the grid that we actually built the house in. And I did, of course, fill in all of the windows, as you might be able to see, with a little bit of colour, just to make them pop a little bit more, because I will never use this house again. This is just a little bit of a showpiece for me, but you obviously won't do that if you do plan on using the house. I hope that you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I really like this house. I hope that you guys do too. If you did enjoy it, please do remember to hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that. I honestly would. It's the best thing you could do to help this channel out. And if you do enjoy the content, please do consider subscribing to the channel. Click the little bell next to the subscription button to ensure that you get all my stuff sent directly to your sub box. And if you do want to check out any more things by me, you can see that I have a lot of modern builds around me. This is kind of like a modern part of my world. I've made literally so many modern houses, guys. You wouldn't be able to make all of them because there's so many. All of those are in the card system description below. If you want to check those out, very, very easy to find. But anyway, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope that you have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you so much. And I'll see you guys in the next video.